We're good afternoon, good morning, and welcome to another episode of Let the Madness Begin. William Cohen, Marshawn Taylor. We're in different locations. One's in the west, one's in the east. Somewhere we're gonna try to meet in the middle. How's it going today?
I'm doing all right, man. Winding down, get ready to head back your direction here tomorrow. Just chilling, man. Enjoying the weather. Doing a little laundry before I decide to head out and go. Man, this is some beautiful scenery, dog. If you ever get a chance to come north to California, you need to come. That's not just you, anybody. It is a sight. It is a beautiful sight, man.
That's where they have the big redwood trees, right?
That is, you know what? I'm gonna check that out. See how far it is from here. It shouldn't be too far from here. I think it should be close by. Yeah. Matter of fact, it should be near. Very close.
Okay.
There with Napa Valley, the big redwoods, the Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge, Oakland, San Francisco area, the Bay Area period is just beautiful.
That's what's up, man. Has the ground moved since you've been there?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. But I heard the ground moved a little bit while he was in over between Georgia and South Carolina.
Probably.
Huh?
Probably.
Yeah, that's what I read in a couple of things that hit my phone.
Yeah, that was because Kwame Brown was still talking about 2021 stuff. Grow up, Kwame. Grow up.
Oh man, don't do my man that way.
You still
trying to help with the uplifting of black people.
He ain't uplift nothing. Stop drinking and and stop talking about the same stuff over and over again.
Damn, don't do Kwame that way, man.
Now we love him. Hope everything works out for him. Glad to see him. Glad to see him recording again.
What? You glad to see him recording again?
Yeah, I think everybody, no matter how I feel about a person, I always want them to feel free. And I hope this helps him to reach whatever he's trying to reach. I just don't like it when they use black people when, truth be told, it's not about black people.
Okay. Well, so how about this? Since we missed Juneteenth by a day, you know what? We'll make it our thing. We need to reach out to every person that whether we object or we agree with what they say, and try to reach out to them and try to, hey, get an audience with them, either on their platform or our platform or both, So that's my challenge to you, because I think this, and like I said, let me go ahead, I guess I'll go ahead and start it off. My thing about Juneteenth is I think this should be the point, because it's the middle of the year. We should judge our progression as not only a race, as a culture, a people, the things we should have accomplished, not only just from years past, but, from month to month, day to day, up until this point, you looking, this is the high point of the year because it's the summertime, where we have been, where we're going, when we're at right now at this moment. I mean, like I said, Juneteenth happened to fall upon, Juneteenth and let's say fall upon, Juneteenth, Father's Day coincided this weekend. Just so happened, which is, I think, was a beautiful thing. And hopefully, as Black fathers, those that were able to capitalize on the occasion, with your family, not just enjoying the festivals. You was able to make a big deal about this, and I know I sent it out to a lot of people that I knew, the Black Fathers Matter, and it hit me in a place. I saw it. It came up on my, I sent it to my dad actually a couple of days ago, and it sounded a side joke that he sent early in the week. I don't know, because his birthday happens, happy belated birthday to my dad, which I already did send his birthday, but his birthday always falls with it along. That birthday always coincides with Father's Day, so that's one birthday I can never seem to forget, but and like I said, and it hit me, when it popped up, because not only just for him, myself, you, Marshawn, other people that we know that, that are fathers, have been fathers, and will be fathers down the line. I was able to enjoy the company of and not company in the sense any kind of, I know people are nowadays, but I was able to, hang out with a young man that was here with me for the same purpose. We're here, and and we had a real good talk yesterday, and it kind of fell in with this. Not only just Black fathers matter, but Black families, Black fathers, but Black families as a whole. We need to reevaluate. Like I said, this point we need to reevaluate the direction of our family as a whole. I myself, I feel there's some things I could do better as a Black parent, a Black man, a Black whatever, African American, however you want to look at yourself. And I think we all should do that. We all should be taken into account, regardless of how you feel about what I'm saying. I think even though you're doing a good job, you can always do a great job. If you do a great job, you always can do a better job. If you're doing a bad job, you got a lot of work to do. You need to get to the good job, get to doing a good job. Because this young man said something to me, and it really, and we say it all the time. We talked about it really, resonated coming from the perspective he was, because he was at one point a middle school teacher. We were listening to a podcast, and it came up, and they did a playback of a teacher that pretty much was fed up, and he was going back and forth with a student, and the student was trying to have the last word, and the student pretty much was saying, "Hey, you can't talk to me in such a way." He said, "Well, how about this? If that's the case, get your mama and, have your mama come talk to me, and then then I could talk to her, but outside that, let's end this conversation." Repeated it again. So once again, the young lady kept going back and forth, and he said, "Well, in that case, how about this? Go get your daddy, and then me and him can have a talk, and then however you feel about it." So finally, the girls had said, after a couple times, "My daddy's dead." My man said, "How about this? Go dig him up and tell him to come talk to me then." Hey, you know what? Touche. But he made this comment, the young man made a comment I was with, and he said this. He said, "As educators, we don't get paid enough because we don't get respected, regardless if we're the actual teacher or the substitute, whether we're Black, white, or whatever. But parents get upset when we try to discipline the children, not necessarily physically discipline them, but we hold them accountable, and they get upset and they come to us like you're the teacher, but no, it's the parent. It starts where? As we always say, Marshawn, where does it start?
At home.
At home. And it's so true. And that's where this is the point in time that we should be, like I said, the president does the State of the Union, we should do the state of the home. Take accountability, of what we got going on at home, the good and the bad. How does one outweigh the other? What can we do to capitalize on more of the good so we can lessen the worst, the bad, and the ugly in our families, in our homes, and it's getting to the point now. It's this young man, like I said, he no longer teaches, but what do we do for those that have a passion to help us in our communities? They not get paid. The benefits may be decent, the pay's not good, but the love for the help of educating and assisting our people. We're losing more and more of those folks, because now we're getting the people now that they do it just for the paycheck. They're not putting in the effort to make sure that your child is not getting educated, that your child is not being accountable, that your child is getting what they need to go further down the road. And like you mentioned before, Marshawn, if we're not aware of what our kids are doing when they step out the door, when they step into other people's doors, whether it be a school, a church, a hospital, whatever, and we're not making them accountable when they step outside them doors, what are we really doing? And you can pick up from there, my friend.
So that's
I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot.
It's a lot. However, I'll start with this statement and then I'll work my way back.
Okay.
Black people need to ask themselves, do we really want help? The reason why we have to ask ourselves that question, because it's a two-folded answer. Because if you say yes, then you have to say yes to, I'm willing to deal with the emotional pain that I have caused my people. The other half is the system that was set in place is willing to acknowledge what they have done and to assist in us getting over the pain, like in therapy.
Right.
We don't want help because we don't want to say the truth to each other.
Because we feel it puts us in a weak position. Am I correct? Okay.
Right. So if you say Black fathers matter, who are you telling that to?
That's everybody.
No, you're actually saying that to Black women, to those single mothers who are out there who are disrespecting the male figure, disrespecting the actual father who's keeping the father away from the child. That's who you're telling. That's why you're saying Black fathers matter. You're saying it to those Black women who think that they could just raise a child without a man. That's who you're saying it to.
Ooh. Okay.
But we have to address it that way. We can't say everybody, at the range, you have to hit the target. You just can't hit the ground and say we go in target practice. We hit targets. That's where we have to stop. On the other hand, you brought up families. So now we got the rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, but you got to hit him. He wasn't for families. Mediocre tutorials and review. He's not for families. O'Shea, Duke Jackson, he's not for families. All these Black men in the manosphere, they're not for families. They're not for Black families. You got to hit them. We can't skip it. No, you got to take them to the head. Kwame Brown's not for families. You can't be for families and you're impregnating every woman you get in their cannon. On Father's Day, you want to have a cute thing. You got 12 kids by 12 different women. Come on, Future. I mean, you're not for Black family. We have to address it like that. Because if we don't address it like that, then what we're really doing is pandering. We're saying, okay, Black fathers matter to everybody. No, it matters to the Black community.
Okay, so how about this? How about I clean it up for you? Maybe Black fathers should start with the Black mothers and the Black family. It should matter to everybody. Because you know why I'm going to tell you why it matters to everybody? Because when your son or daughter sits at that door, they're not just around Black mothers. They're not around just Black grandmothers. They're not around just Black people. And I think we forget about that. And that's not what we're because that's what, my mother and father pressed upon me when I came up. And like you said, my mother and father, my mom and dad, however you want to look at it. Baby mama, baby daddy, however y'all want to look at it. But my parents pressed upon me that when you step out this door, you are a representative of your mom and dad, daddy and mom, this family, and I hate to say it, Black people. No, it's not like you're the end all be all when I say the whole Black people thing. But the thing is, that impression you make upon them carries on to the next person they encounter and so forth that are of the same category. Because we can't say the same color because we're not all the same shade of Black. But we can say, we'll go ahead and say that though, And I think that's what we're that's the part of the lesson we're forgetting to press upon the present generations and so forth. Like you said, and you're right. Maybe we should address those mothers first. That hey, Black fathers do matter, especially if you know who the Black father is. Let's make that effort, and it goes both ways. Nothing wrong being a strong woman, but sometimes even the strong need help, man or woman. You know, in my opinion. Um, you know, I think we're listening to the wrong noises when it comes to that. Because independence is cool, but it's not. And I think you'll believe this too when I say this. Independence, when you say you're a woman or you're a man, it's not and you're attached to somebody through child or however, it's not possible. It's never possible.
I understand one thing, and I keep saying this: America fought for its independence. Let that sink in. So if you meet a woman and she's an independent woman, she is going to fight you.
Okay. But you know what she'd be doing? If it was for me, she'd be fighting by herself.
But see, and that's the thing. So we have to address those issues. We have allowed those issues to manifest. We have allowed I forgot who said it, but we have allowed the stereotypes to run the asylum in a sense. We have allowed what used to be taboo, single mothers, to actually be the norm. We have allowed what used to be a family unit that was a norm to be obsolete.
Right. Or to be unusual, be a thing of rarity now.
Exactly. When it shouldn't be. You know, we have allowed this when a man and a woman comes together. When a man says, I want to be with a woman says, I want to be with a man, come together in union. Now it's more like we could come together to have sex. And this is the crazy part about life. And I didn't even realize this until I forgot. I think it was a pastor or someone. And I know Black Male Advice TV also said this too. He said, you know, you got men and women out here literally talking about they don't want to be with each other, and that in marriage is slavery, this and third, but they'll sleep with each other unprotected and have a baby, but they won't commit.
Right.
How but backwards is that?
It's very backwards because you think about it, and people, and I thought about this too when this gentleman brought this statement up. Is nowadays, it's like I told you, we've gotten, you know, as the generation's gone by, we've got lenient with the rules, the do's and the don'ts, to the point to where, like you said, we allow what used to be the decorum as a family become a rarity or obsolete. You know, because I could strictly remember from kindergarten on up to, man, let's say middle school, that divorce was a very rare thing. You know, I could have counted on my hand that many from that point of how many parents actually got divorced, that I knew kids have divorced. And I eventually became a child of divorce. Myself in high school. Late middle school. It was middle school. Yeah, it was before middle school. You know, unfortunately, you know, and but like you said, it was a thing that was taboo. It was a thing like, you know, it knew it existed, but it never was a thing of an option if he had issues in the family, you know, especially between a husband and a wife, you know. So it was like, hey, it was the end all be all. You tried everything. You tried counseling. You tried everything possible. Separate and come back together several times, you know.
And it's funny that you bring that up because I think people mistake trying with, me, you walking all over me, because that's what we get now. It's like, you know what? If you make a mistake, I'm done. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. But however, life is not perfect. Now, are some mistakes avoidable? Yes. And we're not going to go down the pipeline of what mistakes are avoidable, what mistakes are counseled. But
because that varies from person to person.
Exactly. And one thing I will say is when it comes to the family, we have to really understand that our culture as Africans from the continent of Africa with multiple countries in Africa. Is it over 100 countries in Africa? I'm not sure. I have to count.
Yes, exactly 100 countries in Africa. There's exactly 100, big and small.
All of them have a historical background in family.
Yeah.
Why is it now we think that we can do without family? Why is it now that we think that we could do without a male presence when we know for a fact a male presence matters? And I'm gonna tell you like this. This is how stupid a lot of these females sound. And it's not just females, we're gonna get on the males too, because it's a two-party system. So, but we'll start with the females. This is how stupid you sound. My baby daddy ain't crap. I don't want him near me. If he can't be with me, I don't want him to be with the child, this, that, third. By the time your child, especially if it's a male child, 10 years old, you're throwing them in the mentoring group.
Yeah.
You're putting them on a football field to be with a coach, be mentored.
And,
so you know he needs a man in his life.
It resonates, and it does resonate. And it's to the point where and I hate to say this, and because we get up, because people don't understand, like, you're not giving your son or your daughter a fair chance to figure out when it comes time to decide who their mate's going to be. Because there's nothing wrong with interracial couples by all means. Like I said, my thing is this: give us a chance by giving your daughters and sons a chance. Because you can't get upset when your daughter or your son brings home somebody from another race. Especially if you think about it, look at and a lot of people don't understand that. Like, if you're always that overly aggressive, you're loud, say violent, however, always at the, you know what I'm saying? What makes you think that your son or daughter wants to marry somebody of the same color, same shade, height, whatever, same race, because they got reinforced that, and you're around other people that are the same way, they think that's all we are. Male and female.
So what you're saying is that the poison that seeps out of people's mouths, their children end up becoming that version. So
becomes the product of that. Yeah, they become the product of it. Yeah.
So like I always say, so if you grow up in a household with a single mother and you're a male child and your mother tells you that men ain't crap, your father ain't crap, I hate black men, do you think that boy wants to be a man?
It's the thing. Look, like you said, they are a product of that poison that comes from that environment. How am I to get upset if my child, decides they want to be with somebody of the same sex, somebody of a different race? You know what I'm saying? Somebody of another religion, somebody, you know what I mean?
Right.
And they feel, and it's not because they feel like, you know what, I've like, this is my preference. It's like, you know what? Because I've heard this numerous times. We're loud, we're obnoxious, we're ghetto, we're violent, we cuss all the time, whatever. Why would I want to date somebody like that? But how many people have you dated that were black? None.
None. And
None.
I knew people like that.
Right. You don't even, like I said, you don't even give us a shot. Don't even, you know what I mean? Don't even try. That's the thing. You never actually dated someone. You know, you're just thinking that?
Yeah. And I always say this the same way I say with the people who follow Kevin Samuels. It's the same, like, all of them was hurt by a female that they really wanted but wasn't interested in them. And it's okay.
That's possible.
Most people will rebound from that. But a
lot
of people.
Question, my son.
Yeah.
You didn't want your mom, no? You didn't want your dad?
No.
So I can see where you're coming from, but that's not 100% true. You know, it goes back to saying we say things that sound intelligent and profound without putting real thought into what we're saying. You know.
Yeah. But that's what a lot of times what it is. Me personally, they just got hurt. And they just didn't want to.
Exactly.
And they're like, instead they feel like, you know what, the best way I can move forward is to take the same anger and frustration and push it out to the world.
Yeah.
I heard Jay-Z talk about that. He said, and it was crazy because, man, it was actually very, very deep. He said, a lot of times the people are so angry and upset because they feel as though you could see their pain. And I think a lot of times when people go outside of the Black community today, they're doing it out of pain.
True, and I agree, and that's what I'm getting to. You brought my point very well.
And the pain that they're in pain, and they're not understanding that they haven't dealt with that pain. The pain is not because you can't find no good Black men, no good Black women. I hate when I hear that. I used to hear that a lot. There's no good Black women. I'm like, well, who finds a woman in the club that they really want to marry? Like nobody. I mean, last time I checked. But if that's where you want to die on that hill, it's cool.
Right.
But I think that's where we have to deal with. It's a lot of pain that we're dealing with as a culture. We have not forgiven each other.
And healed. Right.
Right. And Black women now, they want to hold slavery against us. Like, you hear them talking about, you didn't protect us during slavery. You didn't protect. And I actually heard a white woman. I'm gonna say this again, a white woman.
White.
She was white. She wasn't bad looking either. White. Yes. She was white. And she made a statement that honestly was very profound. She said, how can you ask a Black man to protect you when the system has been set up for him to not be able to protect you the way that you want him to? Really? I'm not able to make the money that I want to make because it's set up for me not to. I don't care how many Jason Whitlocks come out there. I don't care how many LeBron James you see in the world. Those are a percentage which is way below 10%.
That's a phenomenon. People don't understand that.
Exactly.
And that's what people, and they can cut you off. And let's stay that for a quick second. These athletes, entertainers, any people don't understand that's a small percentage.
Yes.
That is a very small percentage.
Exactly.
Regardless, and people don't understand. And it's like, there's a lot of people doing it all the time because it's being presented as if we're progressing a lot because they're showing you the same people constantly.
Exactly.
Folks, if it's not Jay-Z, it's LeBron. If it's not LeBron, it's KD. If it's not Jay-Z, it's Nas. If it's not Nas, it's who, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Regardless of how many rappers you think have done it, there's not that many doing it like that.
Exactly. And when she talked about that, first off, I could tell she was actually speaking from a place of respect
and
sincerity because she was like, you're asking him to do something that it's not that it's physically impossible, but it's very taxing. Not to mention that if we look throughout history, I think people forget, and I always like to remind people this, slavery was very harsh on men.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, women had it bad, children had it bad, but men, because we had it worse because if we didn't meet a certain criteria, they'll kill us. If we rebel, they'll kill us. They'll castrate us. They'll breed us. I mean, and in some instances, they will rape us.
True. And all that to do what? But did you do what though?
To humiliate and degrade us and to actually make us feel inferior to them. But more importantly, to create that divide so the woman could look at us to be inferior, which is why I seen this at a workplace that I used to work at personally with a bunch of Black women. When the white man comes around, they act so proper. But soon as a Black guy come around, they want to give him the business. And it's like, what's the difference? The color of the skin. So that ideology has been put in place. It's starting to, like, they say the roosters come home. It's starting to come home now. You see that.
Right.
And, in a Black family right now, the other issue that we're dealing with outside of that is competition. Am I in competition with my woman now? Are we sitting here at this table trying to figure out which one of us gonna make more money? When the goal is to build the family, we're literally sitting here
together.
Yeah. And how many people right now can literally say, I'm in competition with my spouse?
Interesting.
Literally, like, think about, because you got to think about, remember that key word. If a Black woman uses alpha woman or independent woman, you're going to have a fight, because.
But there's no such thing. People don't understand that. There's no such.
It's not, but the problem is that what do you do when you're trying to prove a point? You will go above and beyond. You will always go above and beyond. If you losing out, well, I have to use Stuart Williams on this. So Jay-Z dropped The Takeover.
Right.
And as far as Stuart said, everything that Jay-Z said was right. He didn't, say anything out of line, things like that. He said, but when Nas had to come back, Nas had to go low with talk about your features, calling you ugly and this and that. He said, because technically the battle was already won.
Okay.
But so I can try to win this battle, I have to use everything now. Okay. That's what it is now with the Black woman. And don't worry, Black women, we're gonna get on the men too. You have a woman who may not have had a male figure in her life. Okay. Who may, for whatever reasons, and you know what? A lot of adults are finding out that the male figure that wasn't in their life because they didn't want to, and they find those things out as adults because they're able to be they move from up under their mother, and then now they're seeing the other half. And that's actually happening a lot more now than people think. It's a lot of healing happening. Because a lot of people are starting to realize, wait a second, you wasn't that person that you were made out to be, but that's another story. Right. But if she's already coming into the relationship thinking I got to prove herself, I have to be the most educated. I have to have the best car. I have to have the best house. I have to prove to the world that I am a strong, independent Black woman.
But yeah, and a good point. But that's crazy that
these are their words. I'm not making this up. These are the words they use.
I'm just pointing something out. What you're saying though, it's a valid point. Now you got me thinking, because we use these objects as to you establish your status. I mean, you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, you got to. It's like an Instagram.
It's just we choose to. We choose to. Can you think about it? Why do we need to get the most expensive car out there when you just drive a Toyota with the same bells and whistles, the leather, the Bluetooth, the windows, the navigation?
Because I have already. If I say, for instance, big thing about Instagram, they say, a lot of people faking on Instagram. So How do you fake? You can't fake without having some sort of remnants of it. So in other words, I can't say I have money and not at least, I can't say I'm a millionaire and not at least have $1. Okay. Now, what I do with that dollar is the interesting thing. I could put that dollar into something to potentially make me a millionaire, or I can turn that dollar into right now millionaire. In other words, I can put paper in front of it and stack it like this. Oh, I got money. I could spend it on looking like it and then hoping that it happens. What we're seeing is when you make these, what they call them, affirmations. When you make these confirmations, when you make these statements and you say, I'm a strong Black independent woman, I don't need no man, get on my level, I got 10 degrees and this and that, you're going to do everything in your power to make it happen, to include degrade the man next to you.
Mm.
Because there's no way you could be independent and your man makes more than you. So you're gonna automatically look for a man that makes less than you.
But you're just speaking you speaking a concept though. That I understand what you're getting at, but that doesn't make sense to me at all when you say in that sense. Because my thing is, stop. Because think about it. Marriage is never about independence. Marriage should never be about it. Because you think about it, it's a no, we're not gonna say symbiotic. It is a codependent relationship.
No, it is.
It's supposed to be. And if they feel, and I hate to say this, for any woman or man that feels the opposite, they're wrong and they're wasting their time. You know, by all means, go out there and get your baby mama or baby daddy and live that way. But don't waste nobody's time talking about you want marriage. Because let's stop with all this independence. I mean, you know, it's cool to talk about it, but no, you can't be, don't try to be in a marriage and be independent.
But that's the thing. But that's what's happening. It doesn't work. It can't work.
It's not going to work.
But think about, but you got to understand, these are things that haven't been addressed. Right. So you're taking them into the marriage.
Well, you know what? We're going to address it right here. Because like I said, I'm like, and I know you feel the same way. And you bring up and you have a very valid point. Because the thing that irritates me when you hear somebody talking about it being independent, but you want a husband, you want a husband or a wife, whether you in the man, you into however you like it. It doesn't work that way.
No, it don't.
Because the institution of marriage was established by man. By man. God made it so. He respected it and he allowed it to be an institute that he set forth from this point. Okay, this is your covenant that you came up with. By all means, so be it. Marriage is between a man and a woman. You know, right. I understand. Be fruitful and be fruitful and multiply. Fruitful and plenty and multiply. But you do it under the guise of this thing called marriage. Now,
think about what you just said. And see, and that's where my issue is with people like Nick Cannon and Future. I don't care how many baby mamas you have, but they need to be your wife.
No, exactly. And I agree. And that's the thing about it. Because you think about it, we see, but this is something that we didn't, like I said, this is a covenant that we created under as so said in the Bible, under God's guidance. And this is something that he's held us to. Right.
But even before that, if you was to have multiple women, they were under your protection.
Exactly.
That was your household. They wasn't out here trying to be with somebody else.
No, by all means, I agree. But even then, it was a codependent relationship.
Exactly. You're right.
Even then, it was a codependent relationship. Regardless of how you may feel, regardless of how anybody, not you, but anybody that feels that way, from that point up until now, you cannot prove to me where a marriage has two independent parties and they've been successful.
You can't. But you know what? I'll take that back. It's how you define the success. So your success and my success may be the same and similar, where it's the unique success.
We're talking about a marriage, though.
We are talking about a marriage.
Individual people.
But sometimes, but remember, when it comes to the look of, as long as it looks it looks good to them, that's what matters. As long as
the looks and the substance are two different things.
That's true.
Think about it. You think about it, people put on an act all day. You can sit there and pretend. Because you think about it in Hollywood, for instance, they'll pretend they're in a good marriage for a good year or two, when things actually falling apart around them before they actually admit that things were going wrong 5 years prior. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting at?
I understand that.
Comes about. For instance, like you said, like we say, as I want to say, I ain't gonna lie, we'll quote, I say Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. Who else? You know what I mean? They try to make it work to where they can remain married. Like you said, looks good to everybody. Looks good out there. Okay, yeah, the shining black love, all that, but come to find out, for they actually not they were divorced. They were separated 5 months to almost a year prior to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting that.
Yeah,
I'd
say like
do it all
this.
the time. But that's Hollywood. We can't do that as people.
No, I agree.
In the actual real world, because you sit there and you try to perpetrate. Like for instance, I ain't gonna lie. I'm trying to think. How long before in my own first marriage? How it was? It was. I went through the motion for about a year, and I tried with everything for about a year before I actually sat there and realized that this was healthy. This wasn't healthy for me. This wasn't healthy for me. This wasn't healthy, and if it wasn't for me, it definitely wasn't healthy enough for the ex-wife as well.
Right.
So as much as we went places together, she got invited, and they invited me I go, whatever. We put on the act, but you go home after a while, you just like, okay, now what?
No, and I totally agree with that. But see, that goes to how you view marriage.
Yeah.
And a lot of times marriage is a business relationship. And that's why, we have to say what we define as, a good marriage.
Yeah.
If we're looking at marriage from I won't even say traditional, because I think sometimes when you say traditional, that's what scares people. We look at marriage for what it's meant to be. It's supposed to be two people coming together to build a kingdom.
Okay, I agree.
And that's your kingdom. And you, the man as the head, who's ever under his roof is under his protection. That's biblical.
Yeah.
So, which is why a lot of people don't realize women did not leave their house unless they were getting married.
Oh.
There was a point to that, because you were still under your father's protection, but we don't want to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about that for a later date.
Definitely. We definitely talk about it another day. I like that one. I like how you brought that up. I like how you brought that about. So you know what? Just answer this question. We'll go into later.
Okay.
We'll talk about the discussion. Is that going to be the case with you and your daughter?
Honestly, and I've been going back and forth with it, and I think yes. She is not. You know how this is another thing we got to stop doing, kicking our kids out at 18. You know how we do that? I'm not. Okay. I'll rather her stay under my protection until she reach a point to where she is self-sufficient.
Okay.
Or she reached a point to where she is ready to settle down.
Okay.
But I don't want her to be, because our children get kicked out the house at 18, especially the males. My God, the males are, once again, Black women. They out the house at 18, and it's like, okay, cool, but with no direction, no nothing. I think sometimes, even because you got to think about it, up until about 25, you still stupid. You may be stupid with a degree, but you're still stupid.
Good point.
Why are you going to send somebody out there to mess up their credit, to screw their lives up, possibly get in bad situations, either with a bad roommate or in a bad situation where you're sleeping with someone to keep a roof over your head?
Oh man.
So with that, you could eliminate we could eliminate a lot of our issues in our community if we just go back to ways that worked.
So true. We could talk about it another time though.
So with marriage, if we have to look at it, okay, why did marriage work for so long? Because you had two people that had a common goal. Does that mean they were perfect? No. If Dr. King was not perfect, but does that make him a bad husband? No.
No.
Coretta Scott wasn't a perfect wife, but does that make her a bad wife? No.
No.
But they had a common goal. And I think we're in a point in life where we don't want to sit down and say, okay, we need to figure out our common goal and avoid those pitfalls along the way.
But hold that thought though. But you know what the problem is nowadays? We don't live life. We live life around each other instead of with and within each other and ourselves.
Okay, I can see that.
Okay.
And one thing, and that's actually a great point, because if you look at life now, first off, no, and this is I'm talking to myself when I say this. So
Okay.
it would be hard for a relationship to work if both parties are always gone.
True. But like I said, it goes back to what I said. We're living that life, that marriage, in and around each other, but not within ourselves and each other.
If you don't have the time,
right?
If you say, okay, despite what Iverson said, even though it was a joke, and we understood what he meant, if you don't practice in your marriage, you will never win a game.
I got you.
And that's where we're falling short at. We don't have practice. What's practice? That quality time. If you don't carve out time for your spouse without your phone, without the children, without the internet, without your friends, without your job, without your work husband, without your work wife. By the way, if you got a work husband or work wife, chances are you don't have a successful marriage.
Damn. I want to say successful. I say good. Let's say good.
No, we're gonna say successful, because
I'm saying good. You say successful. You do.
Let's look at it like this: if there's a person who can look at you,
let's say this. Let's say a good succeeding marriage, because you're not full when you think about it. Because you don't. There's no. Because you make it sound like there's a certain end point, and that's what I don't like. Not saying that's your bad thing, but you say you don't have a good succeeding marriage.
Okay, you can say that.
Yeah.
But if you already at a point
and you're done, no, you should never be done with trying to succeed in marriage.
Okay, that's fair. That's okay. You can say that. But
no, good point though.
So we have to. If you have all these distractions, when do you make time for the one? You can't just make time for the one when it's time to have sex.
Oh, good point.
Have you built up the intimacy for sex?
Good point.
We get to a point where, are we really married? Or are we roommates?
I've been there before.
And the truth is, sometimes we end up being roommates. And what happens is the fact that we allow life to happen. Well, guess what? Why life happens? Because those roles have been so grayed out that you don't understand that demand protection is not just to tell you what to do. Its protection is not just to tell you how to live. Its protection was to guide you. The greatest thing that a man can do for his woman is to have her back no matter what. The greatest thing a woman could do for a man is to be his counsel, because she's designed to be his counsel.
Oh man.
She's actually designed to be the only one to be in his ear.
You must have been reading something.
I'm reading the Bible and a lot of other things.
I'm reading. I'm feeling it up. By all means, continue reading, because like I said, that's something that think me and you have talked about in person all the time. But to put it out there, no, we need to start. And you know what? A lot of our conversation need to start coming. We need to start put on here too. But by all means,
we can. Yeah, definitely. And I honestly, and as a person who has failed in the beginning of a marriage, I understand a woman's purpose now. And the thing is that as men, we don't understand women's purpose. You know why? Because the strong Black independent woman that raised us not to understand the Black woman.
Ooh. Okay. I got you.
That's actually one of the biggest issues. The absence of the man showed us how not to treat a woman, or how not to protect.
I like how you brought that back together, though. I like how you brought it around to how Black fathers matter. Go ahead, my friend.
I'm telling you, because there's no way on God's green earth a woman could ever teach a man how to treat a woman.
True. And vice versa.
Exactly. But her goal is to teach us how to understand the woman. The first woman a man is supposed to understand it is his mother.
True.
But if she's so busy trying to be independent, a boss, and every other cliche out there, when does she have time to teach you?
My friend. See, and I bet you probably thought it was like, damn, what can we? And you see what I brought up? You know what I'm saying? And look what happened. You probably figure out, well, damn, what the hell are we gonna talk about? What Black fathers matter? You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with one thing I always say is I'm 100% on board that Black fathers matter.
No, I agree.
And not only do I think it matters, and I'm on record, and I say this again, a Black father is more important than the mother. And I think that scares a lot of people, because if you really think about it, having a strong male present in the home actually deters children from doing certain stupid stuff. It's just inevitable. So
you're damn right.
So when you say that, it's not being disrespectful to the mother, it's saying that the father is that important.
True. Very true, and I agree. And I think that's what, like I said, this young man, back to the beginning of our conversation, is I think it dawned on me when it said that. So I'm kind of glad, because I wanted to have this conversation on Juneteenth, but this is still in the same vein.
Yeah.
It was lovely. It made me it resonated me a lot to listen to that part of the podcast, and then for us to have that conversation, and it was crazy. And I was like, yeah, we definitely got to talk about this like soon, right away. But no, man, it's a good point.
And I'm gonna tell you how important Black fathers are.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
If you have, I'll just be transparent. My daughter has come to me on several occasions and said, and I quote, "If you have another child, just remember I'm your firstborn. I matter."
Oh.
So, and she's already saying that the love that you give me shall not stop.
Okay.
Just because you have another child.
No, you told her you got me. She has me. Tell her, don't want to know about it. She got me.
So when you think about men who are having multiple children with different women and out there, how can they children even have a resemblance of them? That's how much we don't realize as men, we hurt the community when we are impregnating the community. True. I didn't realize how much I hurt my community by having a child out of wedlock.
No, okay.
Because, what examples am I setting? How, especially in the early stages, the bickering back and forth and everything, what example are we really setting? True. Are we making this a norm? So
it's already a norm, dog.
And that's the problem.
Like you said, what we're used to when we were younger is no longer the norm. It's like you said, it's the abnormal, the obsolete, or rarity. It's one of them three.
And that's the problem.
That's bad. That's horrible. Because even if you look at the close resemblance, you'll see it more constantly is either on TV, online, or in the movies.
Yeah. And that's sad.
It is sad.
As men, a man doesn't understand his power.
Right.
And I honestly used to think that was bull crap. I'm not gonna lie. But now I understand. We don't understand our power because we don't understand our gifts. We don't understand our purpose. We take certain things and we try to use it as a blanket. So you made a statement earlier, be fruitful. We take that and no, that don't make sense. And then we take statements like, I don't want to date a baby mother. Well, how many baby mothers you got? I got 4. So who they dating?
Right.
So what you're really doing is you're forcing, and it goes back to something you said earlier. If I don't want to date a person without a child, am I going to keep dating in my race?
Yeah.
We are creating problems. From one problem, multiple problems come about. And that's where we as men need to realize the buck stops with us. If we stop impregnating all these women, we stop creating single mothers. If you stop creating single mothers, you start creating the violence, because a lot of the violence comes from children from single parent homes. Then you stop having women over their 40s and in their 50s never been married. They have children, but they never been married. So you can end that cycle. One stop of impregnating God's earth can eliminate so much problems in the Black community, and that comes with the man.
Okay, I like that. Make sure we are posting this like today, correct?
Yes.
Okay, make sure. Yeah, I'm saying this as we speak, as we record, and whenever you see this, because let me know when you post this. I will forward this out to several people to make sure they watch it today. Definitely, the message, and make sure if we come to it, we know what we might need to post a little bit of. We might need to go ahead and post it up on our Facebook page.
Okay.
You know, I mean, sorry, a little Juneteenth message, but no, man, I think we should wrap it up for this one here. So anything you want to say for the people?
Stop sending that fake slavery note that y'all keep posting online about Charleston, South Carolina, and the slave auction. If you're posting that in 2022, then you're probably part of the problem. We know the slave auction happened here. We have a whole half of downtown that's still set up as if it was a slave auction. We know that. You don't have to repeat it. You know how slave auctions work. Black people, stop it.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that was still going around.
Yeah, I'm like, I saw. I'm like, you serious? Like, matter of fact, I'm gonna be honest with you, Black people. There's a tree that's been in your backyard for probably over 50 plus years that a Black man hung from. Are you gonna chop it down?
It's an oak tree at that.
Exactly. So if we really, y'all really don't want to go there, because y'all are the fingered Twitter people, and I just don't believe in stupidity.
But it goes back to those people they call themselves being woke, in the sense like, oh, okay, but it's a sense is you're behind the curve,
right?
So, and yeah, in honor of Juneteenth, yeah, yeah, we need to work on other stuff besides recognizing the already obvious.
Yes, thank you. That's the point. That's the point.
Yeah, because you think about it, we've Marion Square, they took down John Calhoun's statue. They've taken down the Confederate flag from over the Capitol. So I mean, and that's not happening here. They've done, they've taken down Confederate monuments elsewhere in other states. So
Virginia. I want y'all to. Always remember this. You're absolutely right. They have taken down Confederate statues and things like that. I want someone to answer this question, because I really want to know. How much money did they pay those organizations when they took them down?
Good question.
Because remember, if you read them, because I read a couple of them, they're set up by the Daughters of the Confederacy, Sons of the Confederacy. Those are organizations. So those organizations put money into putting those statues up. You can't just take something down that's been put up unless you are paying it. So in other words, yeah. So once again, it's the taxpayers paying for those things to be removed.
Because in that case, they might as well take down every brick they got at the market, because that's been on top of the museum that's there, the Confederate Museum that is there. People don't understand. If you walk right there at the corner of Market Street in what's that damn road? Matter right there, they had the market. That little stairs, they got a little door in it. Yeah. That's the museum. And who owns that museum that's there?
Is it the Daughters of the Confederacy?
Daughters of the Confederacy, yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, very, very powerful group, by the way.
Huh?
Very powerful group. Yeah.
Oh man, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
they're everywhere, man. People don't understand that. Because I think at one point they even go around, and at one point they were putting Confederate flags at everywhere they had Confederate soldiers buried.
Yes, and I think they still do that. Yeah. Yes, that is a fact. You are absolutely 100% right. Yeah. They don't play. They honor that history.
They honor everything about the Confederacy. Yeah, they do. Yeah, people don't understand that. Like I said, and we get upset, but we need to pay more attention to what's going on around us. Exactly what we're a part of.
So I know
So
we're in closing, but
yeah, no, go ahead.
we'll slide this
Well,
under
it's like
there.
man. We got time.
We'll slide this under there to get prepared for our next show later on this week.
Okay. Or how about later on today?
Okay.
Either way, I'm down. Let me. Like I said, I got a few things to do, but like I said, I'm down for whatever.
If we got a holiday, we got a statue of George Floyd, but we still ain't got no money from reparations.
So that'll be our next discussion, though. Make sure you check that. Yeah, check out our next show. Because either way, whether we record later on the day or later on, that will definitely be our next show. Do you feel Juneteenth was enough? Don't answer now, but hold on to your thought.
No problem.
Do you feel Juneteenth is enough? No problem. Juneteenth. Do you feel Juneteenth? I'm glad you said it. That was supposed to be our discussion, but we had such a good discussion about the Black Fathers Matter thing for Juneteenth. That'll be part 2. Whether it be later on today or sometime this week, you will get part 2. But that was the other part of the discussion I wanted to bring up.
No problem.
If people need to realize certain things. All right, my friend. Anything else you want to close out with?
Nah, just subscribe, keep watching us. Hey, if you feel like we can do things better, you want to chime in, you got questions for us, or if you want to debate us, please feel free. One thing we always say is no matter what I say, no matter what he say, we're always open to learning new things. And not only that, we're understand that sometimes we agree to disagree, but we will respect you regardless. So don't feel like you're gonna, this one of those shows where you'll be yelled at. We don't yell. You don't yell. We just have conversations.
All right, my friend. That's it, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for checking it out. Like I said, I'm currently out west. Man, back east. Like I said, by this time tomorrow, I should be closer. Actually, what time is it there?
It's about to be 3.
Yeah, so I should be a little bit closer come that time tomorrow. This time tomorrow. So, but either way, man, thank you for watching. Like I said, do not hesitate to reach out. Like I said, if you, like he said as well, you want to join us, have a discussion, by all means, you can debate, whatever. I'm not, like you said, I agree. I'm not going to scream, but if you got to get off your chest, hear us out. As long as you hear us out, we'll definitely hear you out. I'm William Coleman. That's Marshawn Taylor. The madness continues on until next time. And we out.